Good. No, great. So let us start with the last panel. So I'm happy to have my guests here, and Raphael of Amazing Blocks, a company that spends time and effort on tokenizing shares, private market shares, and probably managing a lot of more headaches after the initial tokenization. So I'm excited to talk about that. Then we have Barthélemy Rouet of WPO, who is looking to drive the energy transition, and he uses blockchain to do that. So also excited to talk about this. And I think we are missing Ekaterina because she had a private commitment that keeps her from attending today, even though it was planned like that. So with that, I have introduced myself, so I spare you that. I hope everyone who did not see the presentation then can find out about me. I would ask Raphael and Barthélemy quickly to tell a little bit about themselves and what they do and what excites them currently the most. And we then enter into a discussion. I will ask a couple of questions and then we will basically round off with some questions from the audience, which I'm sure you have all prepared. So Raphael, please.
Okay, thank you for the introduction here. So, hi, I'm Raphael Hess from Amazing Blocks. I'm basically there the blockchain lead, or like for the technical side of our startup there. And what we do is we tokenize shares or different types of tokens, whatever the client needs. We are really flexible on that. We realized, and I had a presentation yesterday about it, with my CEO, Sofia Balognani, about like the visions and the struggles and opportunities we identified, especially that for our clients, equity tokens are of very high interest. And what we did is to tokenize our startup successfully in Lichtenstein as the Amazing Blocks AG completely on-chain. And we also did the historic first transfer of a digital share in Liechtenstein already.
Great. Barthélemy. Can you hear us?
We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can.
Yes. So not only we are in lockdown in France, but we can speak. Thank you very much for getting me aboard, and sorry for this wrong start. I'm Marc Rouet, and I'm the founder partner of the WPO, which is a company specializing in renewable energy. That means nothing to do with crypto or nothing to do with blockchain initially. We've been in business for 12 years. We are a custodian. We are taking care of other people's assets, and those assets being the wind park and the solar parks investors buy. And typically, one of our clients would be Allianz, or another one would be BlackRock. So heavy institutional investors, or sometimes Stadtwerke. And they, as you know, invest heavily in this new asset class, which are renewable energy, wind park and solar parks, all over Europe. And our job is, as facility manager, to take care of them. We take care of the technical aspects. When there is a fault, we call the maintenance companies. We also take care of the administration, the commercial and the finance of those companies. So altogether, we manage nearly 6 gigawatts of projects across 12 countries in Europe, including, of course, Germany. And we produce electricity today, or we contribute to produce electricity today to more than 2 million people. And the reason why we're here today in this conference, and the reason why we can talk about tokenization, is because on one hand you have renewables that must grow fast and must basically be part of the solution to climate change. And on the other hand, you have a grid which has been developed for centralized, heavy, carbon-intensive energy plants. On one hand, there is a transition, we call it the energy transition, for something which is cleaner, but also more decentralized. Renewable energy are decentralized and sometimes intermittent. That means there is no wind, or sometimes there is no light. And this new paradigm to manage the energy, there will be energy when it's windy, when it's sunny, and when people need it, might be different. The decentralization of the energy sector, the granularity of small plants or very tiny plants compared to these big nuclear, big coal plants we have around us today, means that blockchain, tokenization of this sector, globally the energy sector and the green sector in particular, makes sense. And that's why we're here today.
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, so let me start with the first question. Raphael, I mean, a lot of people have been looking for good ways or good heaven, good home for launching their business, particularly in the last couple of years. So tell me, like, what has been the reason for you, the primary striking reason for choosing Liechtenstein as the jurisdiction of choice? Barthélemy, would you mind going on mute? I think we have a little bit of ground noise in the back. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, Liechtenstein has a super interesting legal framework. That's the TVTG, the Liechtenstein Blockchain Act, which allows us to we have to imagine the tokenized container model, where we can put anything inside, anything of value, and tokenize it. That is something that handy, and especially in use cases, for instance, like especially equity, it's super interesting for our clients because it gives a lot of power back to CEOs in case you tokenize your own firm. It gives powers to owners of assets. It gives powers to investors because everyone is profiting of it, of the legal structure we can use here, and we're completely hyped about it, especially also with our clients who keep on dreaming what to tokenize next.
And how does it look? I mean, usually what is a problem is if you start in a jurisdiction and you do not have a EU-wide directive, how does that impact, or how do you look at what you do in Liechtenstein versus doing that in the wider European context?
So, props to Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is a great place to do innovative financial products. We have a completely great mindset and setup from the economy there to do something that innovative, especially based on this law. So what do we have here? It's like a fresh field, a fresh ground to start to think of and to develop. And it was really future ready when they started years ago to develop and act on the Liechtenstein Blockchain Act, how to handle this. And right now, since this year, we can really reap the benefits of it. So what we have is we have great partners from the legal side in Liechtenstein with Negele, and we work really great with them, really open-minded. The same thing for Germany. We take both jurisdictions in because of course we want to bring them, for instance, to the core market for us here and there, like for our clients, to Germany, and it's possible. The passporting is just a thing to do, but the main value we create here is just the token types we cannot create anywhere else.
Great, yeah, thank you. So, Barthélemy, tell us a little bit. So I mean, the model, if I understand it correctly, is you're providing a lot of best practice services, value-added services for your customers in the renewable energy sector, and you get access to data in return. What's the vision about, like, what's your company's vision or your vision about what can all be done with this data?
Sure. Well, data has value, or data is value, basically because data is knowledge. And when, as a facility manager, we act as a consultant, we're selling man-hours. But one way to change the paradigm to something which is more sustainable is to consider that instead of charging man hours, which appear like an old-fashioned cost, we would basically give people, empower people with data. That makes something sound more positive and also more sustainable. People can be basically quitting the company or simply just retire at some point or forget, just blow their mind. So a fraction of data is an asset people can build on. And we are currently proposing something which is brand new in the industry, which is very much exchanging our traditional services for accessing the data. I mean, anything we will talk about regulations, as we just said, or anything that is related to blockchain is one thing. But before all, when you go into tokenization and monetizing these tokens, you need to access somehow, somewhere, data. The good news with in the energy sector, it's plenty of data everywhere, but we don't own it. Quite one person owns it at some point. And what we need as an ecosystem, as a blockchain ecosystem, is to get this data in the ecosystem so we can trade, share, and learn or build on it. So the system we have imagined is, instead of buying it, because buying data, first question is how much is worth this data, and then have you got money? We have created a system where we bring our know-how, we bring our man hours, and in exchange of our workforce, we get a right to copy and secure the data on our servers. And then the blockchain is a pure printer. Well, I would say a special printer, because as most of you know, blockchain is not but a register, distributed ledger technologies. The big difference between internet and the blockchain, I'm sure you've said it already several times, but internet is a photocopy machine. And photocopy is good to not lose your mind, but photocopy is bad for value. If you want to conserve value, you need unicity. And blockchain, whether we take energy data or any other kind of data, blockchain is this kind of printer that keeps unicity. So it conserves value. And if you can build on that data, you can even increase the value of it. Then your token makes value, earns value.
And how do you see, like, when we think about, you mentioned decentralization of electricity or energy supply. How do you think, like, what is a tangible use case? So I and the audience understands what the practical beauty is, where you think, knowing, having access to data via the model you described is going to help us to improve the supply, the allocation, the transfer of electricity in the future.
Okay. There will be many use cases. There will be many smart contracts. And can we say as many smart contracts as there would be good ideas? That we need to define. But look at what happened to internet 20 years ago. I think blockchain is very much on the edge of developing these new uses. And this is a range of opportunities which, as entrepreneurs, we can just seize to create new value. Now, smart contract number one, you said it, Sebastian, it's very much, using the traceability feature of the blockchain. Basically, you make sure that you buy electricity from someone, somewhere, and you consume no one else. It can be green, it can be black, it can be whatever you want, but the traceability feature of the blockchain is key. Together with the fact that with the blockchain, you can transact one asset for tokens or for money in reality. And by doing this, you introduce a new system. You can pay your bills using the blockchain. So why not your electricity bills? So the traceability feature of the blockchain gives you the color of your energy or the origin of your energy. Then the monetary aspect of the blockchain gives you the capacity to pay for your bill. And you can also have, and I think it relates to the tokenization of financial assets in a way. You can also encapsulate in a blockchain element a series of events which tells a story. And this story can be, for example, a breakdown when a turbine fails, or anything that relates to a claim. You need to claim to your insurance company, or you need to claim to someone who gives you a warranty on an equipment. And then everything is packaged, encapsulated into the block, and this is immutable, and this can be transferred. First, no one can change anything in it, so it's a clear picture of what happened. And then, if someone takes the package and pays as a form of liquidity damages, he keeps the package with him, so no one is going to be in position to be paying again. So there would be more transparency, and I think also more by automatization, more fluidity, more efficiency in addressing at least simple cases. A number of smart contracts will replace quite a lot of, forgive the word, a little bit of dummy administrative stuff.
I see. So, if I understand correctly, I like the model, but it's basically evolving into a data. It's a way of onboarding data onto a platform for having further parties to probably be able at a certain time in the future to bid on this data in order to be able to monetize the providers of the data for
to anyone in the audience. The good thing of green electricity, it's green. The bad thing of green electricity is no one knows if it's green. And there is a lot of greenwashing, and there is a lot of bullshit. And the more green energy there will be, the more cheating, the more false green energy there will be. So traceability is key. And trust is absolutely key to ask people to pay more for assumedly a better electricity. But then how do you demonstrate that? On top of this, and to be straight and very clear, data is value, but value for whom? We don't want to create a new Google, and we don't want to create a new energy Google, if you want. We don't care about that. Someone else can do it. But we think the future lies with the fact that electricity is a common good. It needs to be given to who needs it, not given for free, but it needs to be made available to who needs it, and at good conditions. And traceability is key. And then anyone needs to be capable to check the performance. I say the performance, the energy performance, but also the green performance of one doing something and the other one consuming it. I give you a very simple example. Today, many people are trying to be greener or to be doing things better. But that's in their accounts. And I'm sorry, I will not read these kind of documents. Or if I wanted to, I would have something which is very glossy and probably very communication and marketing based. What I want to know is just the facts, On a blockchain, on a public blockchain, I can see if X or Y are using green electricity. Not that I'm going to change anything of their politics, but if I connect on a blockchain and I see that, company X is indeed consuming so many megawatt hours of green electricity, and then it claims I am green, okay, it's all right. On the other hand, if someone says I'm all green, but there is no green activity on the blockchain, well, at the end, I think public information is a way to make the green electricity business trustworthy.
Which is a problem that is clearly, I think, also in the oil and gas industry, where it's like pretty hard to end-to-end track and trace. It's not possible. So it's more the bathtub approach. So that's a good one to cover. Raphael, what do you? So first, like what's the underlying protocol you're using for your solution with Amazing Blocks?
Could you please rephrase the question? I didn't hear it audibly.
The blockchain protocol that you built your company on with Amazing Blocks.
I'm sorry, I didn't completely get it again though. But
is it? Are you using Ethereum or are you using?
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So the underlying blockchain we chose was Ethereum, and it's a core element here because we do believe in the technology of Ethereum. Also, because it has one of the greatest value nets we can imagine. And right now, for instance, when you bring shares or anything like containers on the blockchain, it's a wonderful building block also for someone else to build upon it. And of course, it's written like there for history, so we don't know, we cannot even imagine the value of the data of it, especially because it's sorted data as well. It's organized data as well. So Ethereum for us is definitely the fit because we also find a great ecosystem as well. Of course, right now the gas costs are a topic, but we do believe in the future of the update like Ethereum 2.0. But it's not our main concern what gas costs are right now. For us, it's really just like what is future-proof, what is future-ready, what is really accepted, what seems to be the computer of the world. And I think we right now see in Ethereum the most powerful blockchain at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think I tend to agree. Although I think, I mean, Ethereum a little bit behaves like a drunken sailor that finds use case after use case, but keeps finding it. I think it's everything on track, but certainly progress. Everyone would have hoped progress would have been faster. But I agree with you. I think there's what concerns the developer activity, which is a key KPI for Ethereum, and then I mean, silo-free information to data. I mean, security concerns are usually brought up when discussing the different protocols, but that's a good way. But have you been preparing for, I mean, most of the companies in more sensitive areas are prepared to be agnostic. If they choose to go with Ethereum, they may go with Tezos or an R3 Corda. Is that something that you've built in to just, who knows which will be the finally dominating protocol in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, it's very true. Also, we get a lot of client interest also, for instance, in Stellar or other blockchains which seem to be of really high value. EOS is also something to mention at this point. They do have their really strong advantages, and you cannot not say it's not true. It's just like they have great TPS, like transaction per seconds. They're fast, they're cheap to use, like from the gas cost perspective. But of course, we want to see what is reliable, and right now we do believe that by Ethereum we of course went with the mainstream, but right now that's something which is of course more of an advantage here. Though of course we keep considering and keep getting these requests to consider to change or port our platform, which is not that much of a case. So it's really interesting here to keep the eyes out. For instance, Silo is also something which we really look into, and it's a great momentum here to just think how to cherry pick, but also keep in mind what is the thing you want to have in 10 years.
How does that, I mean, since you're building on Ethereum, is your vision integrating with what's currently happening with, for example, Aragon and the DAOs that are going to be created? Is that something that is a natural evolution of what you're doing, or is it a parallel thing?
It's a very interesting question. I think the future will be somehow a hybrid. Most likely we will see different chains parallel going on, but a key element will be here is the interchangeability, the interoperability between those chains. For instance, the Polkadot approach or anything like that might be the enabler of the future to bring the best of worlds together and use them across all blockchains. Whatever the market decides, it's really hard to predict, and you have to stay flexible on it. And for our side, the legal framework allows us to use anything trustworthy technology, vertrauenswürdige Technologie in German. And so we're really flexible on how to apply this framework in the future. For right now, we're sticking to Ethereum, we're ready to go with it. But if the market needs a change here, we'll be there.
Sebastian, last statement, please.
Yeah, I would ask Barthélemy, what's to be expected next from WPO? What's top of the agenda?
That's kind of a little bit fast. We are completely drawn under at the moment because we launched our public token offering in September. So we are finalizing this ICO by November the 12th, so in a couple of weeks to 2 weeks, bluntly. And we, taking this from a success, we're going to invest into this technology. As we discussed before, we must stay flexible, but the green token, which is the ICO token we sell for the ICO, the green token is based on Ethereum because it's the most bankable asset at the moment. And the subjacent technologies will be the best ones when and as we need them. And then what is, in terms of digitalization, the next step? Well, I agree with you saying that we need to stay flexible, but tomorrow's business cases and ours in the energy sector will make the blockchain adopted. If the use cases are good, there will be many people using it. And from us entrepreneurs, early users, early investors, we create history. And of course, at the end, there will be the likes of Facebook and Google, the big ones probably, and they're not going to communicate. We can try to be flexible, but I can't see Facebook being compatible with LinkedIn, for example. Nonetheless, we as entrepreneurs should not undermine our capacity to shape the blockchain environment for what we need. It's not the blockchain telling us where we must go.
To come to an end now.
It is our business to tell what the blockchain should be.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. That's a good closing statement. I think I keep mine for myself. I think that was a pleasure. It was very interesting, and yeah, I think let's see what the year, and particularly the next year, brings for the whole sector. I think we can all be fairly hopeful, and the momentum is there. So, yeah, all the best to everyone, and thanks for your participation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.